Thank you guys for coming. Let's do short intros. I'm Dane, 2-decade entrepreneur, more failures than successes. Jorge, how about you? What are you?
Howdy, my name is Jorge, and I'm here representing Solovoke. I was born in the Caribbean in a little island called Puerto Rico, and definitely inspired by the beauty and the nature out there and the people. And I'm out here in Central Texas trying to make a difference.
Let's go. And what's kind of your big dream?
My big dream was to help my community. I was shaped a lot by stories of my father. My father was born in Havana, Cuba, and he had to leave his family behind to seek a better life. That's where he landed in Puerto Rico, met my mother, and then soon after, it was my turn to leave the island to seek a better life. I landed here in Austin. One of the questions that started my path was really, it was, how come I have to move to a desert to have a better life? Because I came from the tropics where everything grows. And that started getting gears turning in my head. And that's where I sought the outdoors. I sought to grow my own food, sought to teach others. My journey started with teaching children. So I did primitive skills to children 5 to 13 years of age for a local school here in Austin. And after being in the public school system for so long, it was just night and day difference. It was beautiful. The transformations that we saw in the children really helped transform me and lay path to what it was that I was meant to do in this world, to give back. So the dream is to take this school, bring it back to the mountains of Puerto Rico so that we can empower the local people there, children, families, so they can stay on the island that they love.
Let's go. I look forward to having this framework to support you in this dream. It absolutely will. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, my brother.
Take it away, man. Who are you? What's your big dream? Keep it like 2 minutes or so.
Yeah. Ryan Rockwell, former owner of modernyogateacher.com. I just launched a business, optimizedgrowth.ai. Really, the basis for that was I did anything I could to experience success. I sacrificed my health, sleep, everything. And so I have this affinity to work with entrepreneurs that are on the verge of burnout or in burnout. And having virtual assistants have always been sort of a foundational piece of my business. But as I was sharing previously, I was terrified for the first 3 years to hire anyone in my business because I was just it was my baby. And it took a lot to trust someone that, can you please take care of my baby? And what I realized is business owners, when they hire someone, they just want someone to help them feel safe in their business. And so I've been, again, very blessed to have some virtual assistants along the way that had made me feel safe in my business. I've even broke down and cried to not just virtual assistants, but people I've hired and just like people who just showed up every day to help me make that growth possible.
What would you say your big dream is right now?
My big dream is to own a retreat center, to create a men's sanctuary for men to come together to be men, because I feel like there's just this disconnection of men more than ever before. And I want them to understand why they've done everything they can to be competitive, to be the best, to sacrifice their health, and to ultimately feel like they're enough.
That's great.
So they can experience true freedom in their business and their lives and come from that place of freedom when they create.
Amazing. Give them a sword, a journal, and a book.
A sword?
A sword, a journal, and a book.
Okay.
Knowledge, reflection, and combat. Brent.
My name's Brent Burris. I am currently a sales manager in the process of stepping out into the entrepreneurship world and really creating a life that I'm meant to live, stepping into my purpose. My big dream would be to help others do the same, create the life that they want to live, increase their health. That's a big passion of mine. I've been in the personal training world and industry for 10 to 15 years now, and I really have a desire to help other people not only understand what health really means, but for themselves and step into their own power, and then from there, create the life they want to live. So
it's quite a group we have. Thank you for being here, Brent.
So I'm Stephanie Sage. I started a really amazing community for spiritual entrepreneurial women about 8 years ago, and it grew to like 30,000 women in a pretty short period of time. I just felt this pull to bring other purpose-driven women like myself together to share their message, to create a life of freedom, to share their gifts and create a ripple effect in the world. And that's kind of been the theme throughout my journey, even though I've also experienced many successes and failures along the way. The entrepreneurial journey is definitely a spiritual journey. So I love really supporting people with the inner work, the energetics that supports them with really becoming who they are meant to be and being their fully expressed self. So my big dream is to see more of that, to get my message out in an even bigger way, to possibly do larger in-person events or have something that can reach people on a larger scale to support them with transcending their limitations and being fully expressed. And of course, this comes from my own personal journey and experience, which is a whole long story that I won't get into right now, but yeah.
And if you'd like to, you could do It's Stephanie Sage on Instagram. You can find out about it. And yeah, we'll make sure we'll put like the contact info or like URLs below your names. So let's all take like a nice relaxing breath, recenter. And I just want to invoke into the space a lot of love. And we ask that a lot of wisdom come through this session. And all of you just shared your dreams. And it's going to be my objective that all of you get a wonderful new tool to sharpen the skills that will help you achieve this dream. And I don't want to do a lot of talking, so I just want you to hear that you all matter. What you're working on really matters, and your potential is really important to the people that you're meant to reach. Really, really important. And there's one real big lie that I wanted to bust out and get out of the way, and that is that many of us, myself included, have been convinced that the opportunity is what will provide our relief. The opportunity is what will provide our freedom. The idea is what will provide our freedom. The product is what will provide our freedom. If we just had that product, if we just had this thing, or we just had this opportunity, if we just bought Bitcoin at this certain time, we'd have so much. Or gosh, if we just bought Apple, or if we just bought Netflix, or any of these things, our brain is just wired. It's like, oh, if only we were at the right opportunity at the right time. That's the lie. And I'm not sure where and who has decided to plant that in all of us systemically. The truth of the matter is, according to me, is that it's skills that we bring to the opportunity that define the potential of the opportunity, not the opportunity. So we're going to be developing a skill today, and the skill is the skill of value creation. And it's actually a skill. And Aristotle was so amazing because he said we are what we repeatedly do. So what that means is we don't have to worry about who we are right now. We need to worry more about what we're going to repeatedly do. So if we repeatedly do this process of value creation, it'll start to change who we are. So what I'm going to give you guys today is a framework for value creation. And the essence of value creation is to eliminate pain. And so when we understand that, everything starts to change. So as you kind of all come to the room, and you can open your eyes whenever you're ready, I'm going to be teaching you an acronym called DICE, the DICE method. And we're going to roll the dice today, so to speak. And each of you guys are going to get a chance to practice it. We're going to make sure you get to go, because I know you need to go around one. So you'll probably be up first. And no pressure. But it's so much fun. And what color of marker would you like?
Purple.
Brent, do you mind grabbing the purple marker right there? And then can you grab this whiteboard? And just so you guys, everybody watching, none of these people here have really any idea what we're doing. They all just said yes. I think probably because they're
absolutely no idea.
Yeah, absolutely no idea. I think they just listened. What did you guys just listen to your intuition?
Yeah, I was like, why not? I mean, it sounded cool, and you seemed really excited about it. So
thank you. It was very exciting. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you as we go. So Stephanie, who do you feel called out of these two to explore how you could, or to practice the skill with, really.
Yes. You.
All right, Mr. Modern Day Yoga Man. What was it? What was the old domain that you used to have?
Oh, modernyogateacher.com.
Modernyogateacher.com. So,
Do I need to?
yes, we'll open this up, and you can just open it for the next page that doesn't have the marks on it, and then we'll show this as we go. We can have our YouTube editor actually type out what you're writing out. So what I want you to do is we're going to put a D up top, and that will stand for discovery. So in order to really discover how to serve somebody, we're going to look at a context we can help them in, and then we're going to get the landscape of the context. In order to get the full landscape of the context, we need to look at what happens before, during, and after, whatever that context is. So it could be we're helping a homeschool mom, and we're asking how she makes breakfast, and we're looking at everything she does before, the during, and the after breakfast component, which any mother out there will know is quite a bit of pain. And, if we look at that, there'd be opportunities to create products in that for sure. If just by looking at the before, during, and after context of any situation. So we're gonna ask you questions. We just need to pick a context first. What's the latest project you're working on?
OptimizedGrowth.ai.
OptimizedGrowth.ai. And who's your customer for that?
Burnt out or founders on the verge of burnout. I would say purpose-driven founders that want to make an impact in the world.
How many customers have you had so far?
We just launched, we will be launching officially on Monday.
Okay. And what, do you have like the website up? Do you have the brand going? Do you have leads coming in right now?
We turn on the Facebook ads on Monday.
You turn the Facebook ads on Monday. Okay. It typically helps to do, it typically helps to do dice in something that you're actively doing, not something you haven't started yet. But we could try it.
If we need to switch.
No. This is what we're here for, to really try this. So let's, Stephanie, let's tag team this on, let's start with, ask him, what are all the things you had to do, before launching Optimized AI?
What are all the things you had to do before launching Optimized AI?
I had to let go of the pain from Modern Yoga Teacher.
So just say, let go of past.
Right here?
Yeah, I'll try to avoid going into long stories.
That's okay. I'll guide you. I'll direct you.
Sure.
This has a rhythm to it.
Sure.
So what else?
I had to start recovering from burnout.
Okay, recover from burnout. This is already better than I thought it would be. I was like, we need you to be actually active on the thing you're doing. Nah, it's not so far. What else?
I needed to get back into a routine and actually, put my health first.
Get your health back.
Yeah. So, that's part of recovering from burnout, but also just even honoring, my body, getting back. So I've gotten back into almost daily yoga practice. So better sleep. And I had to step back to get clarity on what it is that I really wanted.
Let's put sleep. The more details, the better. Okay. So let's put sleep, yoga, and then not so much the clarity, but the action he mentioned, which was step back. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're looking for more actions if we can help it. Good. So we have let go of the past, recover from burnout, put your health first, sleep and yoga, and then step back to reevaluate.
Yeah. And I would also say connection.
What do you mean by that?
Connection with other people, because I worked from home for so many years. And that's why literally like masterminds are like where I literally I'm like a kid in a candy store, because I'm just happy to be around other people, and especially other entrepreneurs that get me. So when I basically sold my company, I sold all my possessions and I moved to Bali, and then spent some time there, and then also in Thailand. And I was just connecting with other human beings, which I hadn't really done. I had in spurts, but this was a real opportunity for me.
We'll pause you. So you prioritize connection?
Yes.
All right. Prioritize connection. Anything else before?
No, I think that really sums up the core of what I had to do.
This is so exciting. Don't you feel like it's so cool to get to know him?
Yeah.
Like there's this beautiful connection. So I forgot to set context before we start these sessions. Typically, what I really like to just like turn all the love up in my heart before I'm ever doing any kind of a dice session. I turn all the love up in my heart and I say, listen, the intention of this conversation is to be the highest and utmost blessing to you. So we're going to explore your life to figure out how we can make it more blessed and how we could serve you. Does that feel, do you feel enrolled in that?
Yes. And yes.
Yes and yes. Okay. So you don't have to be perfect at this. You just got to get the right things right. We're doing the right things right so far. So let's jump to during. So go ahead and then say, let's say, I'll have you ask him, what are all the things you had to do during launching Optimize AI?
What are all the things that you had to do during launching Optimized AI?
You know, what comes to mind is because the first coaching program I ever entered was in 2015, and they're like, don't focus on a logo. But for whatever reason, that logo, that symbol is a symbol of my passion, of what I want to create. And when I look at that, I want to feel inspiration. And I understand you can spend so much time and give it too much meaning, but I that's just something that along the way that I feel like is an important piece for my process. So I needed to also hone in on where could I really bring value to the world.
Is the first thing design the logo?
I wouldn't say the first thing. I would say that's one of the things.
Okay.
But
so design a logo. So you can just put logo.
Sure.
One thing that piques my interest, the way he's talking about it, is I'm like, I wonder how many hours you spent on it. So just go ahead and ask him that.
How many hours did you spend on the logo?
You know, between the designer, not a terrible amount of time. I would say probably about 5 hours total between me actually playing around with AI and then me giving the designer my ideas to actually create something. And then just the
cool.
So 6 revisions after that.
6. Okay, cool. So now just go back and say, what else did you do during?
And what else did you do during?
And this is to get clear on
to launch during the
launch
during the launch. Yeah. Well, I had been and again I'm trying not to go into a long story, but the strategy.
You can go into a story if you like.
Well, I was in ads, cold traffic ads to webinar to sales call for 8 years. So I felt like, and this is such a buzzword almost overused now, this trust recession in the coaching industry. And I just was like, how can I provide massive, ridiculous value to create trust with my audience? And so I really honed in on the offer. And so I had to look back on, you know, what is in my tool chest that I can pull out that can create that trust and can actually ultimately create the most value for the person. And so that's, I just really had to work on the offer.
Should we call that offer surgery?
Sure.
Offer surgery fit?
Offer exploration. I don't know about surgery.
Offer exploration. All right.
Very invasive.
Okay. All right. I can be dramatic sometimes. I apologize. What about else? What else during? Oops, sorry. You ask. I get too excited.
What else did you do during?
I feel like I'd align with the right marketer because I felt so ingrained, almost like a samskara with a webinar funnel that
Can you define samskara for the listeners?
Samskara is like a path of suffering that you go over again and again and again and again. And it creates this deep groove. And so like I was just open to other different strategies. And somebody invited me to a Facebook group called Nothing Held Back. And I started hearing about the AC funnel, which is not something new. It's just kind of a new spin on an ascension funnel. So I had to find someone that I felt could actually take my idea to market. And I think I'm at a point in my entrepreneurial journey that I want someone to build the funnel. I want them to kind of take over in some ways the strategy, still be involved. So find the right strategy and find the right strategist.
So find the right strategy.
Well, let's look at the actions. So let's put joined a Facebook group. So joined FB group.
Yeah.
And
before
there we go.
Before hiring the right person, I would say surrender.
Oh, and put like surrender tiny up there. So join Facebook group, then surrender, then hire the right
Because there's
person?
so many people who build those types of funnels.
Yeah.
So I interviewed quite a few, and then I just had to surrender to the process of who is the right person to actually do this for me.
Oh, okay. So join Facebook group, and then I put find aligned marketer is what he said. He said an aligned marketer. And did you find them in the Nothing Held Back group by chance?
I did.
Yeah.
You didn't?
He did.
I did.
He
Okay.
did. Yeah. It's a pretty fantastic group. Sharp cookies in there. So find aligned marketer. But to do that, you said can you explain how how many?
3.
3. I would kind of like do like a little interviewed 3. That's a good data point. Then say what else during?
What else did you do?
Why do you laugh? What are you laughing about? Because you're just like, just ask him again. What else did he get?
Let's go. I need to know. I want to know what happened.
Yeah, no. I get it. It's just, it's going through, this. It was literally a journey of transformation in order to get to this point. So I'm thinking about it from my heart, from my head, and then, like little actions that had to take place for this new brand to come alive. So
you look at all these befores, you could encapsulate all these as identity, death, and reinvention.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I had to, because the thing is that I was so aligned with, or not aligned, I was so ingrained with this, being the founder of Modern Yoga Teacher and running a big team. And then all of a sudden now I'm down to 1 EA.
So I'm going to pause in a second. And you don't mind if I tell you to say things? And then
No.
You're good with that? Okay,
Yeah.
great. I think it works well. What I want you to say is, I want you to close your eyes for a second and then pay attention to like what you've been noticing, not what he's been saying, but kind of the person behind and like the qualities of this man that you're across from. And then just reflect to him so he feels really seen. And it'll allow us to go even deeper. When you can say, I'm noticing some things about your character. I think I'm noticing some things about your character. And then mention those and then ask if that's a fit for him.
I'm just going to go with my intuition.
Please.
Well, I'm noticing a few things. First, that you are obviously really passionate and dedicated to what you're doing. And it seems as though it may keep you up at night sometimes or cause you some frustrations. But nonetheless, you've been really trying to find the most aligned path to make everything work in the best possible way for you and everyone else involved. And you've done a lot of your own growth and work to be able to do that.
And then ask him, does that fit for you?
Does that fit for you?
Yeah. And there was stuff that come up from that. I was just going to say there was inner child work that needed to be done, and still in that process. Yeah, there's been some nights that I've stayed up because I think that sometimes it's very hard for me to find a clear line between personal and business, and sometimes I don't even want to have one. Like, I live my message. I want to be 110% in every cell of my body, just living not my brand, the brand. I just want to live my mission, my heart, and I want to share that with others, and I want to find others that are living the same exact thing. I want to live my tribe. I want to just find real, true bliss through purpose, and also just be in love with the journey. God, I'm literally getting emotional. It's just, I just don't feel like I have a choice but to do this, to live this way. And I don't want to live any other way.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for asking. Sharing.
So now we're just building this really good cycle of good feeling, right? This is always euphoric every time I do it. It's based in serving a human. It's not based in mastering an algorithm. So we look at during. We go back to, you found your aligned marketer. You interviewed 3 people. And one thing I want you, so if you say, one thing I'm noticing is you seem to be a very sensitive man.
Me say that?
Yeah, and then ask if it fits for him.
One thing I'm noticing is that you seem to be a very sensitive man. Does that resonate for you?
It conjures up some things. Sensitive. Yes, I find there's a dichotomy in myself because I've had a very sensitive mother, and then I've had this very kind of cut off father, warrior, military war. And so the play on words, and so that word sensitive kind of brings up quite a bit. Almost like I actually enjoy the word vulnerable more than I do sensitive.
You say, thank you for that clarification.
Thank you for that clarification.
And sorry for giving you a miss. So try, you seem to be approaching this initiative with a lot of sensitivity.
You seem to be approaching this whole initiative with a lot of sensitivity. Does that fit for you? Would you say it's more vulnerability?
Yeah, but also a willingness to make mistakes.
Great.
You know, because the one thing at the event yesterday that I went to, it was an AI workshop, and then we had some extra time. So it was like, does anybody want to get on the hot seat? And I went up and I was like, this is what I'm going to be launching. And, people were like, there's not this aliveness that we feel until you start talking about owning a retreat center and being with men. You're talking about AI because like that's where you feel like you need to be. And we explored that. And at the end, it was like, you know what? You're absolutely correct, 100%. But in the same way that I taught yoga teachers for many years to at least pick something and move forward, that's what I'm doing. So even though I'm not, I did look at retreat centers, even recently in Guatemala, but I just am ready to move forward with something because I'm ready to learn. I'm willing to make mistakes. And I was very blessed previously because with Modern Yoga Teacher, I literally got a bachelor's degree in yoga. And my senior project was to create a website to show yoga teachers how to create a more thriving, sustainable income. Went to go work for the Yoga Journal. Corporate as corporate gets, unfortunately. And so literally I took my senior project and made that a career. And so that big why of making that ripple effect and changing, helping yoga teachers to reach more people and change more lives. Like I lived my big why. And so like I don't feel that huge big why through optimized growth.ai like I did with Modern Yoga Teacher, but I'm willing to at least get out there to find it again. So again, and there's this quote keeps coming up, like, I'm not here to get it right, so I can't get it wrong. And so just, again, the willingness to make mistakes is where I'm at.
Thank you for sharing.
So we're at during, and you're all right if we continue into during?
Bring it on.
All right. And just notice the difference in your body before we did all the rapport stuff and now after. It's pretty cool. So during, say what else happened after interviewing 3 people?
What else happened after interviewing 3 people?
Oh man, I wavered back and forth of what was the right decision. As I said, I did just a surrender.
Kind of interrupt him and say, what did that look like?
What did surrender look like for you?
Well, I was actually at a mastermind, and I came to my part at a hot seat, and I was like, guys, I don't know what I want. I don't know what my goal is. And I was like, and I was also just starting to do this inner child work, so there was so much coming up for me, and they're like, we can feel, one guy in particular, he's like, I can feel a lot of rage. And he was right. So I started working with a somatic psychologist and some pretty heavy duty sessions, just literally to the point of shaking to my core.
Wow.
Just shaking and shaking and shaking. So just a lot of uncovery and just trusting the process, but also fighting it. But there was a moment of surrender, at least for the picking the right strategist. And I just was like, all right, let's do this. Let's go down this road together.
Hired, what was it called? Not psychotherapist. It was somatic Psychosomatic?
Yeah, she doesn't have the official title. I don't think she's gotten a 4-year degree in
Somatic work.
somatic work. Yeah.
And somatic work allowed you to hire the marketer?
It allowed me to create openings. It allowed me to release some of the rage that was holding me back, and
It gave you this. It opened the space for you to.
it opened spaces for me to make decisions. And
This is the first time in my life I've sat across from a man who approaches entrepreneurship inside out like I do.
Mm.
I've not met any other man, but me, that it's like, well, we
I'm
got an
a
issue.
sensitive
Really?
guy.
Wow.
Let's go. Let's go inside
like
out.
everything's an inner job.
I know. We're like, well, we hopefully people will catch up to this. But anyway,
Yeah, it has to be heart centered. Like I don't operate well from just like a pure intellectual perspective. Like, oh, this is an opportunity. That's why.
let me pause you just for time's sake. Just for time.
Yeah, of course.
So what happened after somatic work?
I just move forward.
What's that?
I move forward with
what's that look like? Ask him what's that look like.
What does moving forward look like?
Yeah, I moved forward working with a strategist who then interviewed me to find out more about my vision, to understand what it is that I ultimately wanted to create. And based upon that, we created the offers, which I already felt like I knew what I was going to offer, but it just reassured her and myself what we were going to share with the world was the right gifts.
Okay.
There's a lot of juice there. Let's just call it created strategy.
Okay.
Does that work for you too? Created strategy? Do you want to throw any?
An offer?
Yeah. Perfect. All right, let's go jump to after. So you say, so now after all this is made, what have you done next?
So now after all of this is made, what have you done next?
Well, as I said, I'm literally at the point of launching, but there has been some bottlenecks along the way, or challenges, even with the strategist that I chose, because then she started to have health problems. So then she passed me on to her assistant. And as she passed me on to her assistant, we completed the funnel. We completed, what needed to be done. We're ready to launch. We actually did launch. And then he has to just tell me, oh, by the way, I'm not great at ads. And I'm like, thanks, shithead. Appreciate the info now.
Wow.
And so we then paused, because I'm lucky enough to be in a mastermind with a brilliant media buyer. And I was like, hey, can you take a look at my ads? And he was like, pause these ads. And he's actually just agreed on, as of Saturday, to take over my ads. So, yeah. And also there was, when she passed me off to someone else, I also then hired another AC funnel builder, because in the same way that I teach people when they hire a VA or an EA, they actually hire two. They give them a month to actually give them test tasks to see who's the clear winner. Because some people interview really well.
Yeah.
But it really, until you actually start the task, you don't know how they're actually going to perform. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I practice what I preach? I'm gonna hire another AC funnel. So I'm gonna create a little competition here, put a little fire under, someone's butt. So again, it's difficult to answer this after question, because the thing is that we're at this point of the precipice of launching.
The way I think about after is after you created the strategy and offer. So that would be created funnel, created Facebook ads.
Oh, well, then there was self-doubt. There was self-doubt. There was, also I'm asking ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is becoming one of my really good friends. And I'm like, sit me down, talk to me, give it to me straight, as if you're my therapist, and hit me with what I need to hear. And it's like, all right, buckle up, Ryan. This ain't going to be fun. You need to get your housing and you need to get your sleep in order before you do anything else. And so I was like, thank you, ChatGPT. So it was further aligning with my health and further aligning with just my integrity before I could actually bring this thing to the market. So there was further work that needed to be done. Once the offer had been created, once the funnel was, created, there was still more work to internally before I was ready to launch.
So I think we put funnel created here. And then after, we should put the first thing on after. Let's put, it doesn't always have to be an action. Like, I think we should put self-doubt.
I was thinking that too.
Cool. And how long did you spend on the working through the self-doubt?
So I hired her at the end of September. We're now in, the end of March. I should add in there was a motorbike accident and 5 broken ribs.
Ooh.
There was food poisoning, roughly about 5 rounds of antibiotics that, so much fun.
Whoa.
Depression, doubt, I think everything thrown at me to be like, Ryan, are you really fucking ready to do this?
Like an upper limit
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's like, oh, I'm glad you got some clarity. Why don't we get the rest of that shit out of you so that we can really make this thing happen?
Wow.
So,
let's put health challenges.
Sure.
Or health obstacles.
Sure.
Would you say it differently? Then let's put created ads. It's kind of out of order. Below it. Yeah, below health obstacles, but created ads. It's a little out of order, but that's fine. And then there was that oopsie. You found out the ads guy wasn't qualified. So I would call that rehire ads. And I think we've got kind of the picture to now. Does that sound like we've got the picture to now?
That brings us up to date.
Brings us up to date.
Yeah, I mean, and then I moved to Austin.
Oh, you live in Austin?
I moved from, so I was in Thailand from March until December. I came to Austin for a 3-day AI workshop.
Yeah, we read that, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, Austin's going to be home. Let's do it. And then I had sold everything before I actually moved to Southeast Asia. So I was like, fuck, do I really want to buy furniture and get a car again and have to and so someone just happened to be like, hey, I own a place in Guatemala. It's in a great surfing spot, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah. So further distraction and get down to Guatemala to El Paredon. It's a party city. And then I'm like, I've got to get grounded. So then I went to Lake Atitlan.
I love Lake Atitlan.
And so I was in San Marcos for 2 months, 1 month at a retreat center. And then, 1 month just again on the lake. And so then I was like, you know what? It's just time to call somewhere home. And even though I'm drawn to the mountains and I'm drawn to the ocean, and it's very hard to be in somewhere that's like in the middle, which I would call Austin, I have an incredible community here. And there's some incredible entrepreneurs that just light me up. And so I guess my middle ground is, in some ways, my middle path has been Austin, moving here. So that just happened 5 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great city, man. A lot of confidence can happen from living here because everybody's so kind. Everybody, with most people I meet. So we got before, during, and after. Now let's go through each of these, and I'm gonna have you read them to him, and then we're gonna ask him to rate the pain of it on a scale of 1 to 10. We'll go through each of them, and we'll get 1 to 10 pain on all of them.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
No? Yeah, you've got to do it anyway. You have to walk this path like you just said, all right? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for before, the first thing you have is let go of past. How would you rate that from 1 to 10?
10.
Recover from burnout.
10.
Putting your health first.
10.
Sleep. Yoga.
9.
Taking a step back.
That's when you can kind of throw out, how are you sitting here? This is crazy, bro. Sitting in the fire. I'll shut up. Keep going.
Prioritizing connection.
9.
Identity, death, and reinvention.
9.
Okay. And for during, your logo.
5.
Logo design.
5.
Finally, some relief.
Offer exploration.
7.
Joining the Facebook group and finding wait, is that together? No.
Sure. That's gonna be fine, yeah.
Joining the Facebook group, finding an aligned marketer.
6.
Interviewing the people for the marketing position.
5.
Somatic work.
I would on the interviewing, so I would mention the number 3 when you do it, just so it helps him picture. But then if we remember, that was pretty challenging for him, right? Like he had to surrender and he had to go through all this therapy. So I would just kind of push back and say, can you tell me why that's not higher given that it was so hard to pick the person? I'd ask him that.
Okay. Can you tell me why that's not a little higher for the interviewing people, since you interviewed 3 people and you were trying to find the most aligned person and had to surrender?
Because the somatic work actually made it easier.
Got it.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, I'm trying to see how I would answer that. I mean, the somatic work itself was a 10. I mean, it's very challenging part of me. Good Lord, at the age of 45, it's like, do I really want to dive back into what happened when I was 3?
Next one.
Created strategy and offer.
9.
And funnel creation.
9. Just because of those challenges that came up along the way.
And then for after, self-doubt.
7.
And the health obstacles.
9.
Creating ads.
4.
And rehiring someone for ads.
6.
Okay, so we have the before, during, and after. Now we're going to go into one of them and figure out if we can't make that process better. So we want to pick the one that's the highest pain, but he's got a lot of them.
Well, they're most the highest.
Roll the dice, man.
Roll the dice. Why don't we ask him? So I'd say if so we'd say I'll have you kind of repeat after me. Let's say, so again, I want to reiterate my intention is to be a blessing to you.
Again, I want to reiterate my intention is to be a blessing of you.
Blessing to you.
You want a blessing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
You got it.
Again, I want to reiterate that my intention is to be a blessing to you.
Yeah. So in that, I don't want to assume what would be best for you.
So in that, I don't want to assume what would be best for you.
So out of this list of 4 10s, which one would he prefer? Yeah.
Okay, so out of this list of the few 10s that you have, I'm going to ask you just which one you feel is like the most intense.
I can already answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
Number 1.
The let go of the past?
Yeah.
I like intuitively felt that too.
Let's go.
Well, I'll say, and I'll give this a little bit of context.
No, not yet. We're okay, just for time's sake. So let's turn the page and we'll skip this one. And we're going to the second process of discovery for D. We did before, during, and after.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want you to write a box and put PF up here inside the box. And that stands for pain flows, like a flow of pain. And then an arrow to a box that says DF. And that'll be dream flow. And then an arrow to a box. And that will say V for value. Now we can get into kind of the stuff you're going to share. So here, now I want you to say to him, I want to map out the, how would we say this? I would like to map out all the painful moments that you had to walk through to let go of the past. Say that.
Okay. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I'd like to walk through all of the painful moments you went through to let go of the past.
Okay. I'd like to walk through all of the painful moments you had to go through to let go of the past.
Would that be all right with you?
Would that be okay with you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning.
Let's start at the beginning.
And you kind of do a box and you go down like this.
So just for my clarity, this is not talking about actually the pain. It's more the process that I had to go through to process, let go of the pain.
Mm-hmm. Let's try that.
Okay. I had to let go of this identity of success.
You could put like a SI for success identity, if you can remember that.
I don't know if I will.
I'll remember
Okay.
for you.
Yeah, let go of the identity of running a team.
Huh. Like what do you mean?
What exactly do you mean by that?
That was one of the things I really prided myself on. I mean, that was my flex. I've got people working for me on 5 different continents, and the reality is it's a fucking nightmare to actually schedule a meeting when you've got people working on 5 different continents. So letting go of past success, letting go of the identity of being a founder with a team.
So yeah, we'll call it team identity. Now that we understand it, we can say team identity. And this is where you can really kind of take the lead. We can go back and say, okay, so first it was success identity.
Okay, so first it was success identity.
And second it was team identity.
And then it was team identity.
Because they can get kind of squirrely in here because it's like pretty a gnarly place to be. So you keep them on the guardrails and then you say, what next?
And what next?
Accepting failure.
Accepting failure. Should I put that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm actually... I have to say it just very quickly. When I put the company up for sale after hitting burnout for an extended period of time in 2022, I did technically sell the company. I had 7 bids. I chose the guy that I thought would honor the mission and the vision of the company. It was actually one of the lower bids, but I really thought he would take care of my team. And I believed in him. So we went through that 3-month process, and it was the fucking most intense experience that I've ever gone through. Because I was also coming off of I was in extreme pain. I was in morphine for 6 months. This is not like like an addict. I was literally taking it for pain every single day. And so I was literally coming off morphine while putting up my company up for sale, going through that extensive, stressful process. Anyways, we get to the end. He signs the final contract. I sign the final contract. I introduce him to my team. Very emotional moment because you don't tell your team that you're selling your company because you never know what they're going to do. They don't know how they're going to react. So you tell them only after it's been done. People turning off their Zoom cameras, crying, and introduce him as the new owner. 1 week later, he pulls out. He never sends the wire. He never sent the money to buy the company. So that created a really big, painful event. Because I was so wrapped up in the exit that I wanted. I eventually exited 2 years later, but not anywhere near what I was trying to sell the company for. And so that felt like a failure. And then to go back to your team a week later and say, hey, that guy that was buying the company. And when I told you that I was mentally, physically, and spiritually done running this company, and I'm more of an asset or more of a liability now than an asset.
Wow.
I'm fucking good. We can do this.
Oh my God.
Let's fucking go after it. And they're like, bullshit. So my team of 26 whittled down to 8 within 2 months.
Wow.
Because I just knew it was a sinking ship. So to me, that was a failure. I felt like I failed those people. So letting go of the failure.
I would put in parentheses exit.
Understanding what got me there. And the inner child work, understanding why I'd gone to such extremes to experience success.
We'll call understanding myself.
Understanding why I cut myself off from people.
Yeah, we'll keep that under understanding self, and then say, see if you can ask him. This is a little French, but I would say, see if you can finish it in 2 more steps.
And just repeat the question just one more time. What is the pain flow that I went through in order to get to?
Yeah, so we'll have you practice it again because it's a little hard to word sometimes. What was the series of painful moments you had to go through to let go of the past?
It was, what was the series of painful moments you had to go through to let go of the past? And if there were just 2 more things, what would they be?
Oh, yeah. I haven't even talked about some good shit. I did 2 darkness retreats, a 3-day and a 7-day.
Mm.
And during the 7-day, I realized that I had been abandoned by my father. And I came to that realization, and I was dating a woman who literally broke up with me 2 days after I came out of the darkness. So I felt even more abandoned. So I had to process the understanding of abandonment. And in some ways betrayal. So I think that could
So processing
that
abandonment.
beefiness could probably sum it all up.
What'd you say? Venus? Sorry?
Beefiness.
Beefiness. Okay. Yeah.
Sure, Venus.
Passes abandonment and betrayal. So we'll make sure this is right. So read these all out loud and then say, does this sound like the series of painful moments you went through to let go of your past?
Okay. Does this sound like the series of events you had to go through to let go of the past? Letting go of your success identity, letting go of your team identity, accepting failure, exiting the company.
Around the exit.
Understanding yourself, 2 darkness retreats, and the breakup that led to feeling abandonment and betrayal.
I guess the last one actually that I would add is letting go of comparison. The thief of happiness.
What's that?
The thief of happiness.
Okay. You can say, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No, truly, like, I wonder what people are, when they're watching this YouTube video, they're like, this is too much honesty. I don't understand how to, it's incredible.
I don't fucking understand how I could be another way. Like, I don't give a flying shit, man. If people judge me the way that it's like, I want someone to look at this. I really want someone to be like, you know what, fucking, I gotta be radically honest with myself and radically honest with others. That's the only way I'm gonna be seen. It's the only way that I'm actually gonna like, just feel real. I mean, good Lord, isn't that what we all want is freedom? And in the first step, authenticity. So I'm not standing here with like on a platform saying, look at me. Like, no, I don't give a flying shit. Like, I think it's all just beautiful. And it's just like, share your beauty. Even the ugliness is beauty.
You could just like make a joke, like it's like you can make a joke this. You could say like, this sounds like the start of a really good YouTube channel for you.
Hold on, I need a second. I need to get into character.
Did you feel like he stepped into like alpha leader mode there for a second?
Yeah, that was actually really inspiring. Yeah. The way that you really just owned your reminder. Quote unquote failures that are leading you to your next evolution of self and success. Like, it's inspiring to see that, to hear that, to own it.
It is cool. So let's see if we can't make this. Let's see if we can't make this series of events a little more dreamy.
Let's see if we can't.
See if we can. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see if we could make these series of events a little more dreamy. How does that sound?
I'm open. I'm trying to understand what you mean specifically, though.
Let's give it a shot and find out.
Let's give it a shot and find out.
Let's go.
All right. So here's what we're going to ask is, when it came to the pain of letting go of your success identity, what would have been your dream for how that could have happened?
Hold on, I got to ask it.
Sure. I think I was so ready to answer the question, but yes, please.
When it came to letting go of the success identity.
Yeah, when it came to letting go of your success identity, what would have been your dream for how that could have happened?
When it came to letting go of your success identity, what would have been your dream for how that happened?
Oh, I can just see it. I do this beautiful ayahuasca journey, and I just see my life in the series of events spanning, in my mind and my heart and just awakening from that experience and just feeling complete and clean and cleared. Yeah, that would be beautiful. Dreamy.
Let's put does Aya journey encapsulate it, or is
Sure.
okay? So Aya, AYA. Then when it comes to letting go of your team identity, what would have been your dream there?
And when it comes to letting go of your team identity, what would have been your dream there?
To literally bring them all together.
Mm.
To just say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't take care of you. I'm sorry I didn't make you feel safe.
Mm.
Let's put apology meeting. Does apology meeting sound like an okay label for that?
Sure.
When it comes to accepting the failure for your exit, what would have been your dream come true there?
When it comes to accepting failure for your exit, what would have been your dream come true there?
To get the guy that was buying my company right in front of my face and just fucking look him in the eyes and just let him feel the rage and to process it literally right in front of him. Tears flowing from his eyes, tears flowing from my eyes, and just say, with that, I let you go. I don't think I need to say I forgive you. I just say I let this go.
I'd say, what would you call that process?
What would you call that process?
Intense intervention.
Okay.
Intense intervention. When it came to the process of understanding yourself, what would have been your dream come true there?
And when it came to the process of understanding yourself, what would have been your dream come true for that?
Bringing my mom and my father into the same room and asking questions and just, like why did you guys ever even fall in love? Like, you guys were fucked up in the head. Like, what the fuck ever brought you guys two together? Like, what made you ever think that this was going to be successful? And why the fuck could you not figure out your own lives? And why did I never feel like you were really there for me? Yeah, that's just what comes up.
So,
well, yeah,
meeting with parents?
Let's ask him what he would call it.
What would you call that?
God bless. Family constellation.
No.
No. I've done a few of those recently.
And it's not meeting your parents. We all go meet our parents. You're talking about some serious,
Yeah, like deep talk.
Just finding the truth of their, finding my parents' truth.
Okay.
Yeah, finding parents' truth. So, just so far, Aya meeting, apology meeting, intense intervention, finding parents' truth. Every single one of these could be a paid product offering. Every single one of them. Hey, are you a leader that feels like you messed up with your team, but you're not sure how to handle it? Let me show you how to do an apology meeting. Amazing product. Hey, is there someone that's done you wrong and you really want to have resolution around that? Let me show you how to have an intense intervention. Hey, are you someone that has like holding grudge with your parents and you really got a lot of questions you want to ask, but you're not sure? I create containers for that to happen. Like, dude, this is all groundbreaking products right now.
I love this.
I do too, but there's a lot of emotion overcoming right now. Like, and
the
I
space
know
is yours, man. Go ahead.
No, it's hitting some vein, and it's also extremely fearful. It's like, fuck, man, I would really have to put myself out there.
Oh, we're not asking you to put these products out there. Are you wanting to? You were wanting to.
It's possible.
It very much is. You're the guy that just went through it, so
sure, it's very possible. It's the reality is that as we're going through this, I'm like, where the fuck are we going with this? And so that also was the emotional moment of it all culminating to what you just shared.
Thank you for being on the ride. When it comes to two darkness retreats, what would have been your dream come true there?
When it comes to two darkness retreats, what would have been your dream come true there?
Oh, I would have come.
Do you notice every time you ask, he smiles? Every time there's such a big smile. Good. Okay, I see that out.
Well, for that one, yeah. I mean, there's just such a beauty in darkness, and all its forms. And the perfect situation would have been, to walk out, embrace the light, get a text, from the girl I'm dating, like, come over and give me a big hug. I don't know. No, I think there would just be feeling like I really had been truly cleaned. It just felt clean and that I had overcome most of the challenges and wasn't walking into more challenges.
And what would you call that?
Stepping into freedom.
Yeah, so instead of leaving the darkness retreats, coming into more darkness, you would leave the darkness retreats and step into more freedom.
Stepping into the light. Yeah, however you want to phrase it. I think both synonymous with each other.
When it comes to breakup, abandonment, and betrayal, what would have been your dream come true there?
When it comes to the breakup, abandonment, and betrayal, what would have been your dream come true there?
I think there would have, well, you're asking me about a dream scenario. So I don't know if I was giving you the same smile when you're asking me, like, what's the shit you went through? But I think there still would have been a clean break, but it would have just been a truly amicable or just accepted on both sides. Truly felt like this is the right, as Moses parts the ocean, it just felt like this perfect separation and feeling right for both parties.
Okay. So.
And also forgiving my father. Forgiving my father for feeling like I was abandoned by him. True forgiveness.
So would you say amicable breakup and forgiving father?
Let's say, well, this is so dramatic. Moses parting the ocean. Just a clean release.
Okay.
A clean release. And then ask, when it came to letting go of comparison, what would your dream come true? What would your dream been there?
When it came to letting go of comparison, what would your dream come true be there?
Oh, this no, really small. So this would be like bringing Tony Robbins. This would bring all my incredible business coaches and even some of the business coaching clients that were going through the same time that I was, that actually had more success than I did. Bringing the Frank Kern, bringing the, Dan Kennedy, bringing all these marketing, and then also the people that I'm really, good Lord, there's this thing where I wanted to be one of the top 10 people to raise consciousness in the world forever. So bringing these, I used to have a digital frame that would have Aristotle and Jesus and Buddha, and so bringing all of these people that I've been trying to emulate, compare, and just having the recognition that they're just people, that there's not something that's going to unlock when I feel like I'm better than any one of them. In fact, that's actually the lock itself that keeps me imprisoned, is wanting to be better. So just having this meeting, the meeting of transformation and the release.
Meeting of transformation, should I call it?
Meeting of transformation and the unlock.
It sounds like being with your leaders and seeing that they're human. Yeah?
Yeah, because, this is something about, people being on TV or people being on YouTube or people being in a Bible or people being in a book but when you actually meet them and you see that they're real, they put their shoes on just like you. There's humanness. There's something that actually takes them off that stage and just again makes them more human.
That's also really very cool product idea and could be done in creative ways that don't involve bringing them in the room.
Yeah, it'd be hard to bring Buddha in the room. Actually, Buddha's always in the room. But,
so let's wrap through the value. So say if you had your dream come true, for Aya, what would you have valued that at in a dollar amount?
If you had your dream come true about the Aya journey, how would you value that? Like what dollar amount?
Oh, that's easily 50K.
Cool, 50K.
Yeah, easily.
Easily.
That's my minimum viable offer.
And what about the apology meeting?
Ask him, just so you have your mind gets to hear yourself say it out loud. What would you value that at in a dollar amount?
And for the apology meeting, what would you value that at a dollar amount?
10 grand.
And what would you value the intense intervention at
In
a dollar amount?
100,000. And the thing is there's a game going on in my head of this whole thing that we do with high ticket, of the comparison. And I'm just like, Ryan, let all of that go in this moment and just what is it actually worth? So I'm probably undervaluing it way too much. I mean, it's $1 million actually. Changed the last one to $1 million. Because what you're asking me is what is it worth to me?
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to let go of the comparison of like high ticket fucking whatever and just what is it worth to me? So I need to answer the question more truthfully.
Wow. So let's try this. Let go of every conditioning you have around, let go of every conditioning or manipulation you've ever had around money.
Let go of every conditioning or manipulation you've ever had around money.
And when it comes to finding your parents' truth.
And when it comes to finding your parents' truth.
What would that have been worth to you in a dollar amount?
What would that have been worth to you in a dollar amount?
For me personally,
did you like how that question was asked?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I just add a zero.
That's a big deal.
Zero?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's only
like
$0.
Actual zero?
No, add a zero.
Add a
to
zero.
the 1
10
million.
million.
10 million.
Okay.
When it comes to stepping into freedom, what would that have been worth to you in a dollar amount?
And when it comes to stepping into freedom, what would that be worth to you in a dollar amount?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of, I think, similarities because in some ways it always comes back to this release of freedom, this feeling of freedom. So I would actually, God bless, this isn't easy. 15 million.
And when it comes to having a clean release, what would that be worth to you in a dollar amount?
And I'm trying to remember each one of these steps. So remind me the
That one was from the 2 darkness retreats.
I actually thought that was what the previous question was from. So what is the...
Sorry,
that would be from...
that was from the breakup.
Yeah, breakup, abandonment, and betrayal.
Yeah.
To clean release. And let's go, just so you practice, what would that be worth to you in a dollar amount?
And when it comes to the clean release from the breakup, what would that be worth to you in a dollar amount?
Yeah, that's 50K.
And when it comes to the meeting of transformation and unlock, what would that be worth to you in a dollar amount?
Price on that? God, there's so much suffering that comes from comparison. 100 million. I actually truly believe that if I had really let go of true comparison, that my goals would be achieved 10 times faster at the very least.
This is so powerful because these numbers are large. So whenever we're like, if we're surprised by a number, we can just practice it once, and then I want to try and get one more while you get a watch, or as much you can stay as long to see another one happen, so you can see it happen again with someone else, because it'll just really drive in for you. And there's other things we could do to wrap this up, so we'll do as quick as we can. For example, let's say he did it on the 100 million, but say, so for finding your parents' truth, you said that would be worth 10 million to you.
So for finding your parents' truth, you said that would be worth 10 million to you.
Can you explain why the number is so high?
Can you explain why the number is so high?
I think I look at it as what has it been costing me not to do that? And I think actually the number would be higher. And this is not flexing in the least bit, because the reality is that I think all of us can think of things in our hearts, our minds that have been holding us back from true success. And that could be a dollar figure. That could just be simply finding the dream partner.
Mm.
The cost can be, so, it's trying to find, but to answer the question, it's just your parents have a presence in your life. And to quote J.K. Rowling, who says, blaming your parents for your life has an expiration date. I totally embrace that, but I also feel like there has to be a willingness to explore the pain and suffering there, and the ultimate goal to release them, and that anchor is a $10 million anchor for me. So that's why I value it that.
And then let's just to wrap. There's more to Dice, but I think this is good enough. Ask him. So, what would you actually pay as a dollar amount if that thing was arranged with your parents?
So, what would you actually pay as a dollar amount if that was arranged with your parents?
I'm going to answer your question, but in a different way than what you are asking. I would give all the money that I have.
Thank you, Ryan.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
So, in terms of Dice, we've done the D.
That was the D?
That was the D.
Wow.
The rest are much less intense, for sure. We go to I. We invite him into one of them. Like, we invite him in. So which one would you be open to investing in? Which one would you be open to paying for? You invite him in. Then we go into C for creation, and we say, okay, just to make the product as lightweight as possible for you, we would say, what's the least the product would need to do, but still be insanely valuable to you, so we can actually make a really clean product? It's a very important question. And then we go to E for expand. We just really work really hard to get his success story, and then tell his story to other people like him to expand the product to more people. And that's Dice.
So you're doing this with a client or a prospective client?
Yes.
And then you're basically creating the offer that they want.
Yes.
And they're paying for it.
Yes.
And then you're bringing them through it.
Yes.
And then they're giving you a freaking bomb testimonial and telling other people.
Yes.
Okay.
I really want you to go through this with somebody. And because obviously, I had a lot to unpack. So, I really do want you want to go through this with someone and be able to complete the process.
Yeah.
So, obviously I have a lot to say. So for the sake of time, I'm happy if you want to transition.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole, you could do this, you could use Dice to innovate any area of your life. So with all the people that have bought, so she's this really cool necklace. Do you call them necklaces?
Power pendants.
Power pendants. She makes these. They're incredible. So you could talk to your favorite power pendant customers and just be like, hey, I've been looking for ways to serve you guys more. Do you mind if I ever ask you some questions sometime? And then just have them just go through like, so what's alive in your life right now? Like, oh, this. Oh, cool. Okay, let's go to before, during, and after for it. Let's do it. And you can do it more lightweight. You don't have to go so deep.
Yeah.
And then you can find ways to innovate your own company and find new products to your customers that are already buying from you.
Cool.
So you can also do it in a way to just innovate what you're doing. You could do Dice on yourself. Any area of your life where you have more friction than you want, you could just go through and say, what would my dream come true be here? What would my dream come true be here? What would my dream come true be here? And how could I make it happen? So it's, that's the heart of it.
Dane, if
Very cool.
just off camera, I actually recommend whether we go to a different place or something, that we actually complete the process.
Okay.
Or we can all come back for round two.
I think people would actually really, and this isn't about me or anything by any means, but I think they just really need to complete the process, because this is so powerful to actually then to show people D, I, C, E, and complete that circle.
That's cool, because we got 16 minutes till 1, which is your technical stop. So let's flip the page. Well, actually, which one of these would he ask him? Which one of these he would like to have as a product the most?
Of the
dreams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one of these would you like to have a product? Hold on. Which one of these would you like to have a product of the most? The Aya journey, the apology meeting, the intense intervention, finding your parents' truth, stepping into freedom, the clean release, or the meeting of transformation and unlock?
Go into the mic too.
I know what I would like to answer, but what really needs to the truth is the meeting with the parents.
To put a little star by it.
Sure. And but then ask him, which one would you like to answer? What was the close contender, maybe?
What was the one that was closest to that?
Oh, the Aya journey.
The Aya journey?
Oh. Okay. All right. So now we want to go into invitation. So we're going to go I, and you could do I right here. You can just put an I, and then we'll go to the right, kind of like from there. So now we're invitation. So you say, would you be open to exploring how we could serve you with the Finding Parents Truth?
Would you be open to exploring how we can serve you with the Finding the Parents Truth?
Yeah, absolutely.
And would this be something that you would be open to investing in with your own money?
Would this be something that you're open to investing in with your own money?
Yeah, of course.
It's money has this heavy energy in so many people's lives. Did you feel how easy that just was?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no friction, no tax on the heart. Just like that question, so quick. I just want to draw attention to it because it always helps me to see that my stories are BS. Okay. So now you can tell him, thank you. I'm very excited.
Thank you.
And say, so when it comes to the actual price, what price would be so high that it would be out of reach?
When it comes to the actual price, what price would be so high that it's out of reach?
And then we're going to ask him all three at once so he gets the whole flavor for it.
Okay.
What price would be so low that you'd question the value?
What price would be so low that you would question the value?
And what price would be in the sweet spot where you were taking this serious?
And what price would be in the sweet spot where you're taking it seriously?
Depends on your target audience.
So this is
yeah.
For you.
Talk closer to that mic too.
What I was saying is it depends on your target audience, but as you responded that it depends, like it's like I'm my target audience.
And tell him that there's no wrong answer here.
And there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah, it's just the Ryan in there and the marketer in there and the yeah. So I'm trying to lay down the conditioning, but I'm also
Pretend.
I want to do something else.
Okay.
So say, let's pause this.
Let's pause this for a second
And let's talk more about how the product could look.
and talk about how the product can look.
We're going to jump to C, and we'll keep I here. So you put C right here like this and say, what would be the least, so how we'd ask this, what would be the least that this would need to do, but still deliver transformational value to you?
What would be the least that this would need to do, but still deliver transformational value to you?
Yeah, you get me say, what would the least this experience would need to do? Right? 'Cause we're trying to get him to build, he's going to build our product for us.
Okay. What would the least that this experience would need to do for you for it to still be transformational?
I would have to be able to get out all my thoughts and feelings towards my mother and my father. Like I would have to feel like I've said everything that I need to say.
And get it all out. I say get it all out. And then ask him, what about the questions? Would that include questions?
Would
Ask him, because he was talking about earlier, he'd ask this and this and this, but this one he just said he wants to get it all out. But earlier when he was talking about, he said, I'd ask him all these questions. And he didn't say that this time.
Okay.
So I just say, ask him, what about all those questions you want to ask him?
And what about all those questions you wanted to ask?
I mean, do you have enough space?
Would that go under, would that fall under get it all out?
Would that fall under get it all
Yeah.
out? Okay.
Yeah.
And then be like, does it need to be in a certain location?
Does it need to be in a certain location?
It would have to be in a place where I felt safe.
Okay.
It would have to be in a place, I think, where I didn't feel any friction. So more than likely it would be a retreat, where I felt true freedom. I didn't have to worry about making my bed or having to cook food or do anything. I would just be able to just be there fully in the experience. They would definitely have to be a practitioner that just embodied freedom, and I felt that from them. And that created a space, a container of freedom. And I actually think they would have to involve two other people that represent my mother and my father. So.
So just to clarify, it wouldn't be with your actual parents.
So just to clarify, it wouldn't be with your actual parents.
I think I was thinking about this from the perspective of just like, even if someone's parent isn't alive. But yes, if ideally it would be get my mother and my father into the same room. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you for the clarification.
Sure.
So repeat back what you heard in terms of create. Get it all out, retreat, all that kind of stuff.
Get it all out, retreat, doing it with, what was the other one?
The facilitator.
With a facilitator that feels experienced and safe so that
But
you could
retreat,
have that freedom.
retreat, and then facilitator. Yeah, and keep circling back with them until you've...
And either having two people to represent your parents or your actual parents, preferred your actual parents.
And you could even be like, just kind of feeling into how intense this could be. You could just like say, would you like to do like a warm-up round with people that were your pretend parents before we did the real ones? Like ask something like that.
And would you be wanting to do like a warm-up round before your actual parents? Or just like, just get it all out.
Ready. Okay. I mean, just full throttle. Let's just do it.
Okay. So parents in person?
You don't have to. I think that's assumed.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So say, does this sound like we've got the product correct? And then read out what you got.
Just read this?
Yeah. So does
Okay.
this sound like we've got the product correct for you?
Okay.
And then read that out.
Does this sound like we have the product correct for you? We have get it all out, do it at a retreat center with a facilitator that is experienced and embodies freedom and creates a safe space.
Yes.
Is there anything else you would add?
No, because I think it's the experience itself. I mean, I think the minute details are not important at this point.
Say like, how many hours are we talking? How many days? How many weeks?
What do you envision the length of this to be? Like how many hours or days?
Probably a minimum of 5 days.
Okay.
2 days of preparation. Actually, now I'm going to think like a retreat experience, 6 days, because the first day is just getting there and getting. So then there's 2 days of preparation. There's the event itself. Then there's 2 days of unpacking.
And the integration.
Yeah, that's what it was. So it could even be 7 days, because I'm just thinking, the first 2 days are just like, you're there. There's not a lot of work being done at retreats on the first and second day or last day. So yeah, week experience. And really, again, the meat of it is the 5 days, 2 days before, 1 day experience, and then 2 days of, there's possibly you could knock one of those days of preparation off. But definitely 2 days of integration at least.
Like, would your parents be there for the 6 days?
And would your parents be there for the whole 6 days?
They can, fuck no. I'm not paying for that.
So they
can fucking come for a day, get the fuck out. This is about me. It ain't about them. Like, I mean, that sounds pretty cold, but I mean, yeah.
But it's the truth.
Maybe I have the option to let them stay after the experience. But I think that I would. Yeah, it's possible. I could possibly get it out, and then they could stay. And then that would be the peaceful. But I don't know if that's even really possible or real. So that it's hard for me to give an answer on that one.
If I may add something, it shows from what you commented about your parents, it shows where the responsibility lays. It's not coming and hearing the truth from your parents, but it is up to you to let go of that, to be able to make peace with that journey. So oftentimes we put the answer outside of ourselves, or we say that we can't reach that answer by ourselves, but we truly have the ability.
We'll have her in 5 minutes. Did someone come? 5 minutes, yeah. And Jorge, let me pause you for a second.
Yes, sir.
So,
please.
Just in this context, where we won't provide opinions or this,
My apologies.
No, it's okay. There's definitely a space for opinions and
Indeed.
context that could be really helpful. But in this one, we try to provide as few opinions. Dice is about opinionlessness.
I know you work with families, man. This is your cup of tea. So.
But that's beautifully shared. And I want to hear more outside of the dice context. And I'm happy to hear your voice too. And I want to get you into the next dice. So creation, we've got. Does it sound like we have the nuts and bolts of the product?
Okay. Does it sound like we have the nuts and bolts of everything now? We have get it all out, retreat, facilitator with experience, safety, etc. Minimum of 6 to 7 days. Your parents ideally come for maybe a day, and the whole
Give them a couple days.
A couple days, okay.
Because they need a day for the experience. Give them 3 days. But I mean, I definitely, it really depends on, I think it would have to be a retreat center where it's big enough where like literally you have the ability, because it is for that person, that they get to honor how they feel, and they have the option of letting their parents stick around, or they would, kindly ask them to leave so they can actually process what came up. While at the same time letting them process, but maybe it's big enough for them to like have space there and have space for yourself.
So are you kind of getting a sense for how the product is just birthing on its own?
Yeah.
Without any effort on your part?
Yeah. I have questions though.
Well, okay. Let's finish and then we can do wrap-up questions.
Okay.
So now that we've got the product more defined.
So now that we have the product more defined.
What price would be so high that it's out of reach?
What price would be so high that it's out of reach?
What price would be so low that you'd question the value?
What price would be so low that you would question the value?
And what price would be right in the sweet spot where you're taking it serious?
And what price would be right in the sweet spot where you're taking it serious?
What came up for me was $250,000. What came up with the sweet spot was 100,000. And then if it was like 5K or below, I'd be like,
okay.
Look at his face, is so great. Okay, so put 100K and say, would you like to do that with Visa or
Amex?
So now we would get so the really cool part. Now we go put E right here. It doesn't have to be totally like, it's kind of a weird order, but whatever. E, and then put B, D, A. Just all right by each other. So when you said really badass testimonials are not to show how great you are. They are to inspire hope in the hopeless. So it's the testimonial done to actually inspire hope in the hopeless is a very different testimonial than this person's so great.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they're the best things since sliced bread versus like, I was at my wit's end and I was burned out and I didn't have a candle left. And now I've got my candle back. And you're like, whoa, that's when you're reading a testimonial, you got it right. But this is about not being a testimonial. This is about, E is about becoming a storyteller. How you grow a company is by becoming a storyteller. That's the best way I've ever found to grow companies. Don't think of yourself as a marketer when you're growing a company. Think of yourself as a storyteller, and think of yourself as a storyteller of your customers' transformations. And the story you tell is the before, during, and after of his life. And so before, during, and after is like, here was before and all this stuff. And then during, he was raging at him and asking questions. And then after, dude's like blissed out walking on clouds, hopefully. But so that we would optimize for his before, during, and after transformation story. And then we'd go after more 45-year-old, 50-year-old, and maybe there's other ages that are like awake to how important this parental conversation is. And, and that, my friends, is DICE.
Love it.
Let's go. We did it. Good job. Dude, fucking round of applause. Round of applause.
Yeah.
Stephanie, round of applause for Ryan.
Yeah. Thank you for being so vulnerable.
And sensitive.
Well, sensitive means you're attuned to so many things and you care about all of them. That's what I was thinking when I was thinking sensitive. You're attuned to so many things and you seem to care about all of them, which is a really, really amazing quality. That's how I think of sensitivity. Not as any kind of weakness at all, but just all this attunement to everything and that it all matters. And so in terms of DICE, remember, it's about value creation, and value creation is about the removal of pain. Do you guys have a deeper cut of what that means now after doing DICE, what value creation really is? So in value creation, it's really more like value discovery. Like we didn't create any value. We don't have to be impressive. We don't even have to be all that skilled. We just have to be really trained in how to give birth. The great entrepreneurs are the conduit for the customer's voice to become real.
You should quote that. That was good.
Okay. Maybe we'll get a tweet or something. And that's it. The great entrepreneurs were giving birth to Ryan's voice. How was it for you, Ryan, to get witnessed and have this whole experience?
I'm very blessed in this moment, and I'm also very blessed to be in circles where I can do this. But yeah, this was the beauty of it for me, of course, is in the
just because we have someone waiting outside,
of course.
So a couple sentences
in the sharing, there's really a release. But for me, what was, I guess, the love, where I feel flow as ideas is when you put it all together and you shared these could all be offers. And that was like the spark that just lit me up the most.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And we can talk more offline too. How was it for you?
It was really enlightening. It was just interesting in a lot of ways. Like, I could see a lot of my own self and a lot of the things that you were sharing. I felt like I just, when you said that these all could be offers, that was a light bulb moment for me too. Like, oh, wow. Especially because you've like embodied all of these transformations in a sense, maybe not necessarily had the dream experience, but you could create that. So yeah, it was really cool going through the whole process and witnessing you and your whole process of like how to get clarity of the offer. Very, very cool. Thank you for sharing this.
It was my pleasure. The final thing I would mention is we're so wired to just think of opportunity as the mechanism for wealth that you may do dice one time, get a great opportunity and try to maximize the wealth with it, when really your highest leverage is if you did this properly like 25 times, it's a game over. Your bank account would never be sad ever again.
25 times with the same person?
No. You could do 25 reps, different people, different contexts.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, for this offer, like, how do you know that you could fulfill it? Like, I guess is what I'm asking. Like, say I don't know, like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
It's tied into his life purpose, perhaps.
Well,
like,
so you're asking about what the risks to fulfillment.
Yeah, like, how do you know, like, it could be, like, would you hire a facilitator for, like, would you facilitate that whole experience?
No.
Like, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you know you could fulfill it? Do you outsource for some of that stuff, depending on what it is?
I'm still trying to track, and there's so much to keep track of, so I keep missing things. When it comes to creation, oftentimes you're going to find something you have no expertise in.
Okay.
So there's a process for going out and finding an expert and bringing them in to support the process for you, so you can actually own the thing.
Okay.
So you're not like stuck in everything all the time. You're actually a proper entrepreneur, properly owning stuff. And but in terms of fulfillment, like, well, if you can't fulfill it, then you throw it out. But I think you could let it bend and let it break and let it reorganize until some form, maybe not this perfect iteration gets fulfilled, but maybe some form can, you know?
Yeah, you can break it down. And I think honestly, AI is such a good,
it's a good question though.
Business partner. As to like, you know, literally describing the process of, this is what I would love to create. This is my reality. What is actually kind of the middle ground, or what's possible to make this offer actually come to life based upon my assets, my skill sets. I mean, I really do. I rely on AI in many different ways, and I think all of us should. I think, you know, it's
if it had this whole kind of dice as a thing. Well,
you could create a GPT probably around
definitely
it. Of course,
planning
you
it.
create the bot.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on it, and then you can have it recorded and feed into it, and it can repeat back to you. And we did it, you guys. We went through the whole thing, and I want to just plant the seed for you guys, like just to like, I'll have dicecommunity.com where you can join a community of people and practice this for very, very low price. And everything else is just going to be just all free. You won't ever need to pay for anything. You can actually get the Dice framework for free and always just practice it with whoever you want. The goal is that, like, if you set the target this year to do this 25 times, you will have this, your brain will, repeat what we repeatedly do, right? So your brain will start to shift into being kind of this money magnet, and you'll never have to think you have to be impressive again. You just have to give conduit for the person's voice to emerge, and then just let that grow into fruit trees. So let's bring our next guest in. take a break. We'll take a 5-10 minute breather. And then we'll probably have the next guest do what you just did and maybe ask you, or would you like to go and ask the girl who comes in? You pick, bro.
I'd love to be a part of this, or I'd like to be asked.
You want to be asked?
Because
okay.
I want to put myself in the hot seat.
Okay.
I'm definitely in the process where I'm taking a lot of notes, and a lot of beautiful opportunities are coming that can alter the path.
Let's go.
So I'm yeah.
So it's
trying to be as vulnerable as you, my brother.
107. We'll start back at 1:15.